All right, can you guys hear me okay with the microphone right there? Okay, sweet. Okay, so show of hands, how many are freshmen? 1, 2? There's only 2 freshmen. 3? Okay. A handful. Sophomores? Okay. Juniors? Nice. Seniors? So the seniors are going to be the ones that are leaving early. So about half. Okay. So my name is Mike Karlsven. I've done this once before with my partner Spencer Millerberg, but I doubt that any of you were in that class. Has anybody heard of One Click Retail before, or heard of me or Spencer Millerberg? Very little? Okay, good. New audience. That means I can tell all the lies I want, and you guys won't know the difference. Okay, so I want everybody to get their devices, and instead of putting them in silent mode or putting them away, I want you to take them out. I want you to go to this website, enter in that event code. This is more of an interactive presentation, and you're going to need your device in order to interact with it. I'll give you guys a second to get there. So anytime that you see a slide that says live poll up at the top, then that will be the cue to pull out your device and go to that screen and just refresh the page. It might refresh itself depending on your device, but you will see questions there appear during the presentation. Okay, if you're not there already, you're going to have to get the address from your neighbor. Okay, so just really quick, so there's the quick bio about me. Came here, BYU, as part of my resume as an undergrad, and then I went and worked for Walmart. Came back, had interest from Walmart in becoming an MBA. One of the big drivers of me getting an MBA was I saw all these guys coming into Walmart that had MBAs, and they were getting jobs that paid so much more than mine did. And they were doing some really fun things. They also had this thing that they called a network that I was really intrigued about. They all had, around the country, somebody that they could count on to help them out with whatever questions they had. That was really intriguing to me. So I actually, while I was at Walmart, I put myself on a rotation program. I worked this out with my manager to rotate around the different functions: finance, marketing, merchandising, and I could shadow directors and vice presidents and learn more about what they did. This was all while I was a wireless network engineer for Walmart, supporting hundreds of thousands of networks across every country. So it was a lot of work, and my family didn't see me a whole lot while I was doing this because I would put in the extra time to make sure I got my day job done while I was learning more and more about the business world. So then I came back and got my MBA. Let's see. During my MBA, I interned at Cisco Systems. I used my experience at Walmart to get an internship there, working in the wireless business unit, working on their wireless network products. Started Better Servers, and then came over to One Click Retail. I want to know, why do you want to be an entrepreneur? So the survey should be active now. Go ahead and take a few minutes and pick from the choices. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Is that working for everybody? Okay, I'll give you just a minute here to look through that. Interesting results here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and show the results while you guys can continue voting here, but I want to show the results. Can you guys all see the results on your screens? Let me pull them up on the big screen here. Ready, results. Oh, wrong screen. How about that for the results? Okay, I'm really curious. Being your own boss. So we'll get into the others. I want to hear some responses from you guys. Be your own boss. It's not all that cracked up. It's not that great. It is, though, really flexible. So I would agree. Be your own boss. That's a great idea. Make lots of money. Yes, it's possible to make lots of money as an entrepreneur. It's also possible to lose even more money as an entrepreneur. Can't find a real job. Who's the can't find a real job? You don't have to raise your hand. Okay, I want to hear some of the other responses. What are some other reasons why you want to become an entrepreneur? And maybe you don't want to become an entrepreneur, but of those that do, what are some reasons? BYU Soccer.
Give back.
To give back to what?
To like people. If you're a boss, then you can give people jobs that have to provide for them.
Absolutely. One of the most rewarding things that I was able to do while at Better Servers was some of the recruiting efforts that we could do. We brought in a high-frequency stock trader developer. His algorithms at one point controlled 10% of the US stock market. He was so sick and tired of the stress of his job in New York, he wanted to come and do something else. So we brought him out here. He's not a member of the church, but he is so impressed with the community here. He loves it. He'll never move away from Utah. And fingers crossed, he'll be introduced to the gospel. So yeah, giving back, helping others. You can provide an opportunity for other people. Other answers, yeah.
Probably a social standpoint, be able to make a difference in somebody's life or many people's lives for the good. Like not just some product that's like a luxury product, but something that really benefits somebody's life.
Okay, so a social aspect of the product that you've created or something where you can give back in that way of saying, for example, there's products that are going into Africa that are helping people with purified water. You know, to bring clean water in an affordable way to many people. Absolutely, that's a great way to do it. Yeah. Nice. There's a fire in you and you're just like, I have to get this idea out of me. I need to just continue developing this idea. I like these answers. Okay, with these answers in mind, let's see if this will work. Perfect. I want to kind of touch on how you can be an entrepreneur in whatever business or whatever path you take. Walmart, one of the biggest companies in the world, when I was there were over 2.1 million employees employed by Walmart. How entrepreneurial do you think that you could be there? Big company, you're like, hey, they sell toilet paper. I mean, they're not benefiting the world in any way. They're shutting down Main Street shops. How am I going to really benefit somebody's life there? How am I going to give back? How am I going to use my creativity here? I was given an opportunity at Walmart, even as a wireless network engineer, to come up with some innovative solutions to some crazy problems at Walmart. My idea was to improve the distribution center wireless networks. They had some serious problems. They depended on these wireless networks in order to ship products to the stores. Stores needed the products in order to sell products to customers. This, if you want to put a social spin on this, Walmart is one of the first responders to every hurricane zone. They line up the trucks. They're all ready to go. Fun fact, what does Walmart preload for every hurricane zone? Strawberry Pop-Tarts. They have trucks full of strawberry Pop-Tarts ready to go in to these hurricane disaster zones. They're right there with the generators and the water bottles. So These distribution centers, in order to respond to real-time requests from the cash registers for orders, needed the wireless networks to be functioning really well for all the forklifts running around the warehouse to pick up the orders, put them in the trucks, get them off into the store on time. These wireless networks weren't that great. They had not invested very much money in them. I proposed a new network design. It was an incredibly expensive design when I initially proposed it. I worked with the logistics teams there, and I finally got funding approved for a pared-down version of my network. And they gave me license to go into one distribution center to try this out. Talk about being an entrepreneur in a huge company. Walmart doesn't do anything that's not at scale. But what they do is they scale it up from a small pilot. So I was granted one pilot location. We installed the network there, the new network. The improvements to these associates' lives, the workers there, who, if the wireless network goes down, they have to clock out and go home unpaid for the rest of the day while we try to figure out how to get them shipping again, now can stay operational the entire shift without fear of the network going down. This network was really advanced. If one of the wireless access points goes down, the others around it would bump up their power to absorb that hole, make sure that these associates were always connected. It was an amazing technology, and it worked great. My role in this, I was the lead on the project, and I was the lead engineer. I was in a situation where I was on the team, and I was able to perform as an entrepreneur, even in a large company. Even at that, a large company, I had to have at least a couple pivots in this. My initial design was crazy too expensive. Walmart would never sign off on it. But through my pivots and through changing my idea and refining it to meet a budget, I was able to be successful. Had I not been able to pivot and think like an entrepreneur, there's no way it would have ever been successful. It would have been shot down, and it would have died on the vine. And those distribution centers would have a less than good network. Okay, I want to know, as an engineer at Walmart, I was given the opportunity to do a lot of new projects and things like that. I want to know, where do you think the best ideas come from? So, pop up your screen there. Start voting. Where do the best ideas come from?
I'm going to vote for professors.
Absolutely. Professors do get good jokes. Those are good ideas. Okay, we've got a bunch of people here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pop up those results for you guys. Customers, friends and family, myself. Oh, there's some family feuds going on. Developers. Let's see, do we need to scroll down to see more? Business analysts, social networks. Oh, that is so sad. Does nobody trust the CEO or management here? Do we really think that they don't have good ideas? Why do we pay them so much money? The CEO is typically the highest paid person in a company, but you guys think he's not giving any good ideas. Customers, number one. Why do you guys think customers? Go ahead.
They're often the people that have the most contact with their product.
True.
Even though we might be making it and doing all these things, they're the ones that say, hey, it doesn't load
Yeah. So many developers never use their product that they built. Okay? Another comment.
Ideas, a problem is a seed of an idea. So obviously if customers have a problem, in a way the idea comes from the customer, but it's not the customer necessarily coming up with the solution.
Yeah. I like that. So customers are a source of ideas. They're not necessarily the source of solutions. I can get on board with that. Okay, so what do you do if you don't have any of these customers? Where does your first idea come from? Have you guys thought about ideas? You've got that idea burning inside of you. Where did that come from? Yourself? Is that a really good idea if it came from yourself? If we say the best ideas come from customers, is it a good idea if it comes from just yourself? So then, what was that?
If you're a customer.
If you're a customer. Can you be a customer of your own product? Some of the best apps that have been in the App Store are solutions to that developer's problem. They're their first customer. So still, customers, number one answer. Okay. When we started Better Servers, so I started Better Servers with, are you guys familiar with a company called Bluehost? It's a local company. So Matt Heaton, the founder and CEO of Bluehost, he sold Bluehost to a large company of web hosts. And then I got a phone call from his CFO saying, hey, Mike, Matt wants to talk to you about starting another company. I was like, how does Matt even know that I exist? I've never met him. I don't know anything about him. Turns out he didn't, but the CFO, who is a good friend of mine, recommended me to Matt, saying, hey, Mike can help solve your problem of building your next company. I started out at Better Servers. We wanted to build a performance cloud computing company. So this is, like Amazon Web Services on steroids. So we wanted to go cheap but extremely powerful. The CEO, Matt, he had quite a bit of money. He had just sold his company. So guess what? He gave a loan to Better Servers, the company, and he brought me on to head up all of product development, to make the product. He had the idea, but he needed somebody to help execute on that. So I started executing. Within 6 months, we had brought on one other person that was helping develop it, and we had a sellable product. And we went to a convention called HostingCon, and we were ready to take orders. But you can see, 6 months, that was our first pivot. That was our first idea. I've got 5 or more pivots here in this company profile. What happened? Today, Better Servers has been around. It's still around. We started it in 2011. They've taken a total of $0 from customers. They continue to be funded. The CEO continues to fund them. We've gone through a number of pivots. What happened? So the title of my presentation is Success versus Failure. I was successful at Walmart. I got funding. And Better Servers, I chalk up as a failure on my resume from revenue gained by a customer. But I chalk it up to a success in lots of other ways. Better Servers is the cloud computing platform of the future. It was amazing how much performance we could get out of these computers. Have you guys heard of solid state hard drives? They're crazy fast. They make Windows even boot fast. We had performance that was faster than solid state servers. To give you an idea of the talent that we had on our engineering teams, most of our engineers went and worked for Apple after leaving Better Servers. Apple recruited them. This is the dashboard. We had live metrics. Nobody in the industry had live metrics. We had servers, we had networking, all of this virtualized. All of this, you could just click it and deploy it, and it just worked. It wasn't like, unbox the Linksys router, push a button, it doesn't work, I don't know how to use this, and I can't connect, and I can't print. It was incredibly fast, incredibly performant, and we had a lot of features. A lot of features came to be our downfall. So the initial idea came from our CEO, Matt Heaton. He was not a customer of his product. He was the CEO. But what he wanted to do was build on his success that he had with Bluehost. He had so much experience with these customers. And he wanted to bring them something better, the next Bluehost 2.0. We'll call it Better Servers. All the supplemental ideas and subsequent ideas came from the CEO and a handful of employees, drawing on their own experience. Again, we didn't have any customers. We would launch a few. This is actually my portal, so I actually still have 7 servers with them. I use them occasionally, but not a lot. But we continued to develop more and more features because we thought we needed that feature before we could feel justified in charging that first customer money for this platform. So we'd chase after it. 6 months in, we had a working product. We launched it at HostingCon, integrated with credit card taking and everything. And we said, hey, we're going to give you a free trial. Just sign up. Just give us your credit card. We won't charge it. Just sign up. Test it out. We want feedback. So we went with the intent of getting feedback from customers. But then we'd get the tiniest little bit of feedback, mix that with our lofty expectations of a 2.0 or better server, and we'd say, oh, you know what? We can't launch this until we have volumes. Those are hard drives. We want to be able to attach multiple hard drives to our server, and then we'll be able to charge for it. And then once we got that working, we're like, oh, actually, we need multiple networks. We need to be able to do geographic diversity on these servers. We need to be able to put them in multiple locations so they'll never go down, and then it'll be ready to charge to customers. Like, oh, actually, you know what? We need to make sure that there's notifications. Let our customers know when their stuff is down. Let's put those in. Oh, with notifications, we need live graphs. We need live charts. Let's put those in, and then it'll be ready to sell to a customer. All the while, people are starting to use this product for free, but we're building this for ourselves with no real customer in mind. And we continue adding more. We're like, oh, let's add templates. Let's add object storage. That's S3, the equivalent of S3 to Amazon. We kept adding and adding and adding features. One of the things that I chalk up as a success to this is what not to do. We built an amazing, amazing platform that even now, a lot of the server companies are still catching up to the features that we had in 2012. But we never launched. This is something else that I learned from this experience. Build it, measure it, learn from it, and then build it again. The problem that we had is we built it, and then we built it, and then we built it, and then we built it. We never collected that customer feedback. We never launched it to learn from it, to measure it. We missed 2 of the steps, and we were chasing after this elusive, perfect product. One of the examples on this, are you guys familiar with scrolling in a window? You know, Twitter, you can scroll forever. It's called infinite scrolling. One of the features that we're like, oh, you know what? We have to support that large enterprise customer because they're going to be the ones that pay the most to us. They're going to have thousands of servers in our system. We need to make an interface that will scroll to be able to find all their servers and everything like that. We brought in top talent to try to solve this problem because infinite scrolling wasn't good enough. We wanted it to be faster. We didn't want to have to, oh, you reach the end of the feed, loading. Oh, here's some more, scroll up, loading, scroll up. We're like, oh, that's not good enough. We want to be better. So we came up with a scrolling solution. We spent 4 months developing scrolling on the website to reinvent scrolling that worked for what we thought was necessary. Did any of our customers ask for that? No. They never asked for it. But we were envisioning this perfect product. We weren't building to measure and learn. We were building for what we wanted to build. We wanted to handle lots of servers. Should we solve it now or later? Feature creep. This is the best example I could come up with, feature creep, for what it looks like in a practical or impractical sense. Our server dashboard, that looked amazing. It was awesome. But essentially, it was this Swiss Army knife. I'm sure there's somebody out there that would have a use for every one of those features at some point in their life. But do they need them all now? When you're thinking of your ideas, when you're thinking about how to execute on your ideas, be cautious of feature creep. Create what's called the minimum viable product. That's something that I vowed to do in my next company. One-click retail. As I'm building up and running better servers, the product development there, I get a phone call from Spencer Millerberg, who is working on an idea that he and I had dreamed up while we were literally on a beach in Cancun. We were on vacation together, and we worked out some details of, hey, Spencer came and said, I've got this idea. Do you think it could work? And we kind of hashed out some of the details. I said, yep, go for it. I'm doing better servers. I've got high hopes for this one, but let me know if you need any help on one-click retail stuff. And it was before it was named one-click retail. Let me know if you need any help with that Excel stuff. So one-click retail, the idea, it's an e-commerce, sales and operations analytics dashboards. Funding, we bootstrapped this one. We did not take any debt. We did not take any VC, anything. We didn't give up any of our equity in that. My role was head of tech and product development, and we've had at least 3 pivots, and we're still going, and we're continuing to add more and more products to our portfolio here. The initial idea was an Excel dashboard. We were bold enough to sell Unilever an Excel model. We built a model in Excel, put some metrics in there, and we said, hey, Unilever, you interested in this? This is your sales visualized using some charting in Excel. And they're like, oh, actually, yeah, that looks really, really interesting. And the one piece that was the clincher was we had come up with an algorithm using Excel to calculate out competitive sales. This is something that no one selling on Amazon had access to. So we came up with this one feature. We can give you competitive sales. You interested? Yes, 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 yes. It's in Excel. We're embarrassed of this thing. Oh, how much should we charge for it? $40,000. And they're like, per month? Per user? Oh, that's a little expensive. I mean, we can work something out. We worked it out, and we didn't know what our pricing solution was. We had no idea how valuable this was. So we were guessing, probing on the pricing here. Our CEO, Spencer, came up with the initial idea, and we sold it to a large company. Initial idea. This was an Excel dashboard. This was the antithesis of better servers. We're charging $40,000 for access to an Excel model. They could have easily show formulas, see what we were doing. It's not that difficult. We hid it. We put password on it. It's awesome. Everybody knows how secure the passwords in Excel are. But at this point, we now had a paying customer that we were invested in, they were invested in us. Subsequent ideas now come from customers. We're able to say, you know what? What else do you need in this dashboard? We could customize their reports. We could add more reports. Oh, you know what? It would be really nice to see just what are my top items? I have like 5,000 items for sale on Amazon. I can't drill into that. I can't digest that much information all at once. Help me out here. Oh, okay, we know how to use pivot tables. Apparently you guys don't, so let's create that. And it's not that they didn't know how to use it. It's that they didn't have time, and it was cheaper for them to pay us to do that work for them and that analysis for them than for them to hire somebody to do that analysis for them internally. At One Click Retail, we subscribe to a model called Nail It, Then Scale It. Have you guys heard of that phrase? Familiar with that? We kind of borrowed it from a professor here at BYU. Professors have great ideas. They just write them in books. You got to read to find them. Nail it, then scale it. We did this Excel model. We nailed it with Unilever. We put in so many features into this Excel model that, a 400 megabyte Excel file. Has anybody tried to open a 400 megabyte Excel file? There were so many features and there was so much data. There's also about a 1 million row limit in Excel per sheet. We were coming up on that with the amount of data that we were stuffing in these Excel spreadsheets. It's time for a move. We had, at this time, around 15 clients that were receiving these 400 megabyte Excel dashboards. It was time for a scaling solution. We'd nailed it. We've got this built for all these clients. And we're making decent money. But then we had to use OneDrive or Dropbox or Google Drive to deliver these products to them, and it would take forever to upload them. Our account managers who would assemble and build these Excel dashboards, we got them a foosball table because just to open up the file took 15 minutes. So they'd go play a game of foosball. They weren't in favor of us scaling to something faster. I don't know why. So we built a database and web app version. Now, we could have started with this. We had the skill sets. I built a prototype out of this. But we didn't use it yet because we didn't need it yet. We wanted to scale only when we needed to. I just talked to my head of data science today. We processed over 35 million data points this week. Every week we add 35 million data points to the system. One of my other data scientists was working on a problem. We had to get new servers for him. We're going to go to a completely different technology. I was like, why can't you just use the ones that we have? He says, ours don't go to 1.2 trillion rows. We're getting into some large numbers now. We have over 130 clients, 1,500 users in the system. And this year, we're on track. These are the publicly available numbers. Now, we are acquired. We got acquired by a publicly traded company on the London Stock Exchange. So I talked to my CFO, and this is the number that he allowed me to show you. It's actually higher than that. That's how much we're going to make this year. And next year, we plan on doubling. We're on full scale now. We started with an Excel model, and we built it, and we stretched that thing as much as we could. We're up to 35 employees. One of the things that we found, though, when scaling, is we couldn't necessarily build on the Excel platform. We would have ended up with a house like this. Doesn't look like a very sturdy foundation. So we had to go back and somewhat scale up our foundation first. So in some senses, as we nailed it and then we scale it, we have to nail the scaling as well. Rebuilding a few of the pieces so that it can support the load that we're going to put on the systems. One of the things that we've found through all of this is customers are extremely forgiving while you're scaling things. Don't get me wrong, they're incredibly pushy when they want their ideas or their problems solved. But they're willing to work with us. They're willing to help us nail the solutions and then scale them up. Your customers will do the same. If you're offering them a value or some sort of a solution to their problem, they'll be your biggest source of ideas and your best source of scaling opportunities. It's how you're going to take your idea that's burning inside of you, or that thing that you want to bring because of social awareness, or that thing that you want to give back. Nail it and then scale it. Learn from your failures. Learn from your successes. And build on the things that were good, and do less of the things that didn't work out. We have a mantra at One Click Retail. We call it fail fast, fail loud. It's one of our leadership principles. We have 10 leadership principles. We want our employees to fail as fast as they can and do it as loudly as possible. Meaning, don't hide your mistakes. If something went wrong, realize that something's wrong, call it a failure, learn from it, and move on. Build, measure, learn, and then you can build again. This has been a really good solution to my journey as an entrepreneur, to subscribe to the nail it, then scale it. Learn from your successes, learn from your failures. And I've seen it time and time again in all the business books that I've read, the cases that I was going through during the MBA program. It's something that's proven out. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, and you don't have to relive all of somebody's failures, but there are going to be failures in your path. Learn from them and turn them into successes. Okay, I have one final polling question for you guys. What'd you learn today? Again, I'm all about learning from my successes and failures, so please tell me, where did I fail you and where did I succeed? I'm going to go ahead and activate this one. And while you're doing that, I'll put up my contact information. And with that, it looks like we're about 5 minutes early. Is that okay to let them go? Okay.
So, do you have anything else you want to say?
That's it. Thank you guys very much.
So we're going to go up to, hang on a sec, we're going to go up to 7:10 to do our Q&A section in a smaller group up there. If you haven't had a chance to vote, your time to vote is running out. Do your civic duty, go earn that little sticker. And please join me in thanking my